once again for the renegade master. Back 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 once again for the renegade master.
Hello my renegades and welcome back, and we are on the ultimatum, marry or move on, and we are now on season 2 episode 9. But tonight I want to do something special. Tonight is going to be a twofer, because you're going to get episode 9 and then straight after, rolling into it, you're going to get the finale, so the reunion. Okay, so before we get into all of that, please hit that subscribe button, please hit that notification button so you know when I am on and making videos, and let's get right into it. So as we know, as it left off on the other one, we had Trey and Riah basically going through their spiel. I am not going to go through all of their spiels, to be honest with you, like seriously, because it's all flowery, it's all saying what they need to say, and then we get to the gung-ho at the end of it, at the end of the day. So as it works out, we see at the end of the chat between Riah and Trey, Trey gets down on one knee, asks Riah to marry him. Now, with the longest pause there ever was, at the end of all of that, Riah said yes. Was I shocked by her saying yes? Not really. Not really, because at the end of the day, if you think about it, she had a good man there. She got a good man there who's willing to take care of everything, who's actually of an age, even though he's quite young, who's literally thinking of the future, like buying the house, setting up for the kids, wanting to get married, X, Y, and Z. You don't get that all the time, especially with the young ones nowadays. Now you can all correct me if I'm wrong. You don't get that kind of thinking all the time, and plus the fact that he does earn really well and he looks after her really well. So I know this is gonna sound bad, but she'd be a fool to let him go at the end of the day. So then we see Ryan and James come in, and basically they're having their talks. At first, I will say with James, I honestly thought, including with the edits are a bitch. The edits are a bitch, man, because it had me fooled. Because I was thinking this man is not going to ask her to marry him. I was thinking he was saying that there's too much going on with him at this moment in time, that he thinks that he won't be the man for her, and he's left her hanging for 7 years. I thought he was not going to ask her. You could have knocked me down with a flipping feather when he did. When he got down on that one knee and said, will you marry me? Now, she started smiling and giggling. So we already knew Ryan was going to say yes. Ryan was not going to say no. At the end of the day, she's waited this man out for 7 whole years. 7 whole years she's waited this man out for. So this girl was not going to say no. So then we move to Kat and Alex. Now, these two, I would say should definitely have not, like, you know, I thought they were done, like done because of how Alex behaves and yada yada yada. So they get and they say their thing, they say what they need to say, and again, I was by this time I checked out once Alex had got down on one knee. I was like, oh fucking hell, mate, like really, like really, is that how you really feeling? Like really? But he did. He got down on one knee, and of course, Kat said yes, like she was going to, because at the end of the day, Kat was the ultimatum giver, and she again, as with Ryan, with James, was waiting this man out because she wanted to marry this man, and she got her wish. I wish them luck. She got her wish. So then it moved to Roxanne and Antonio, and with them two, straight off the bat, was like these two shouldn't even think about getting engaged. Like, well and truly should not think about getting engaged in the slightest. I honestly believe Roxanne was going to say no. I already knew that Antonio was going to ask this girl to marry him anyway. Come hell or high water, this man loves this girl like to the moon and back. Loves this girl. I think it's a kind of obsessive kind of love, but either way, he loves this girl. She can do no wrong in his eyes at the end of the day. So again, he got down on one knee, and fuck my life, Roxanne say yes. I was like, huh? What? She said yes. I was like, but then I started to think in my mind, are these people saying yes just to literally save the person who's asking them from embarrassment of saying no? Like, because that was 4 for 4. All of them asked and all of them said yes. And I'm thinking to myself, which ones are the serious ones? Because with Roxanne Antonio, I did not see that coming. I honestly believed that Roxanne would say no, like seriously believe she would say no. So I was really shocked when she said yes. Because I'm thinking, with all the issues that you have around being engaged, around being married, and the whole marriage thing, I did not see her saying yes. So that's why I kind of thought, well, is it a case of you don't want to embarrass this man on live TV? So at the end of the day, what you're going to do is say yes for now, but that doesn't necessarily mean you're going to plan a wedding for now. And then that's where it ends with them two. And you see them all like coming each time, beating off and talking about their different partners and the fact that they've said yes and what they're going to do next and yada yada yada, and happy that they're engaged. And then you know that the reunion is coming, and that is what I am going to talk about next. So don't go anywhere. I shall be back. So here we are with the finale, the reunion, and I have to say they all look good. To be fair, they all look good. They're all sitting together, but I did clock straight away the hand of Roxanne had no engagement ring on it. I did clock that straight away. So I was like, okay, what's happening here? And then we had an empty seat as well. Oh, actually, nah, I have to say it again. Now we're getting into the finale. Please, as again, hit that subscribe button. Hit that notification button so you know when I'm doing videos. But more so, hit the subscribe button because I need some more subscribers. Because again, I'm on the road to 1K. I haven't been saying it in all of my videos, but I'm going to be saying it now. Anyway, so then you got Nick Lachey. It's Nick Lachey and bloody Vanessa Lachey doing, you know, the commentary and hosting and yada, yada, yada. And of course, Nick goes the pregnant route again, like shouts out, goes in with the surprise pregnancy. And I'm like, have you not learned from Vanessa with the Love is Blind stuff? Literally stop throwing out who's pregnant, da 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 da, because at the end of the day, I thought it was kind of insensitive to do that, because we knew within the program that Riah and Trey had been pregnant 2 years prior to this program, and basically there was no heartbeat for that baby, so they had to go through that trauma. And then for you to literally bring up pregnancy all over again is absolutely freaking ridiculous. Do you know what I mean? But then, as again, that did lead into the segment in regards to Lisa and Brian, and the fact that the cast actually didn't believe that she was actually pregnant, and that because of the situation that went on and the heightened emotions, they basically thought she used it as an out. More so Roxanne, because Roxanne said it in a group setting and everybody was like, shh. And I'm like, she's saying what we all thought, but don't say the quiet bit out loud, is what I'm thinking. Of course, if you remember, they had the empty couch there, and who should come and fill that seat but Lisa and Brian. Now, my thing is yes, they were a part of the ultimatum, but only for a short period of time before they left. They didn't have the cojones to come back and speak to the rest of the group in regards to why they'd left, and left it up to Nick to literally explain why they've left, in the fact that Lisa's found out she's pregnant. So why would you come to the reunion? That's what I want to know. Why would you honestly come to the reunion? Because at the end of the day, you have no business being there, because you left early. So you didn't go through, literally, yes, you may have gone through the first bits of that process in regards to the stress and how it actually felt to you and the reactions from how it felt to you. Yes, you went through that bit, but when it came to the rest and growing through that process, you weren't there for that. So don't understand why they brought them in. But the only thing that I can think of was to cause tension for Riah, because at the end of the day, Riah looked so uncomfortable when they walked in, like hella uncomfortable. And then it started off with the issues, like they were showing the issues that happened between Lisa and Brian, and then with Riah. And Lisa, with her het up self, literally turned around and said she did not regret anything that she said about Riah. And I thought, you rude. You're rude, because you owed Riah an apology. You owed Riah an apology. And I'm glad that Riah brought up the situation in the fact that what she was saying was absolutely disgusting. In how she was tearing Riah down was absolutely disgusting. Because at the end of the day, yes, she turned around and she that was my man and I was going to take up for my man. Da 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 da. I said, no, it was bare ass jealousy. It was bare ass jealousy, because yes, Riah was interested in Brian, but Brian was also mutually interested in Riah. Don't forget that part. Don't forget that part at the end of the day. And you were the one that gave the ultimatum to Brian and brought him into that scenario and that experiment, knowing that he's going to get to know other people. That's the clause of the experiment. You are going to get to know other people. I think it was just bare ass jealousy. I think it was bare ass jealousy, because there was kind of a little bit of a sexual chemistry between Riah and Brian. And I think Lisa picked up on that. But rather than taking up the issue with Brian in an appropriate way, not smacking him in the face, but in an appropriate way, she decided to literally go for Riah and literally say some awful and disgusting things. And again, with Trey, like, Riah is defending herself. And even I think it's Vanessa comes to Riah's defense as well, or speaks up, or it might have been Kat that speaks up in regards to how disgusting Lisa's behaviour was, to the point where Trey didn't say nothing. Trey didn't come to her defence in the slightest. And I'm like, this is it again. How are you not saying anything in regards to this? Yes, Riah can hold her own. And yes, Lisa can hold her own. But come on. And then it came to the point of, first, Brian was literally defending what Lisa did. And I'm sorry, there was no defending what Lisa did at the end of the day. She was garbage for what she did. She was garbage at the end of the day for what she did. And I do believe that she owed Riah an apology. And then you had, I think it was Roxanne, yes. And then you had Roxanne turn around and basically say, well, you didn't know you was pregnant at that time. It could have been the hormones, like, surging and doing whatever. And yeah, to a point, emotionally, to a point, your hormones can fuck with you chemically and emotionally when you're pregnant. But at the end of the day, that doesn't excuse, hormones doesn't excuse the words that were coming out this woman's mouth. Because that's not hormones, that was Lisa. She made the choice to say the words that she said in regards to somebody else. So no, I still, and I will continue to say that she owed that girl an apology. She owed that girl an apology. And her saying that she doesn't regret what she said, or then making excuses and other people making excuses for her, actually doesn't discount what she did. And it kind of still continues with Lisa. She did have a little baby boy. And basically they are still her and Brian are very, very much still together, very much still within their relationship. But he's not asked her to marry him. She ain't got no engagement ring on her finger. And that's what she wanted. She basically said she wanted marriage before babies, but babies literally, you don't, there's unless you actually plan for it, there is no plan for having a family or for starting a family. It happens at the end of the day. She still didn't get what she wished for in regards to the engagement, in regards to a marriage, and she's already told him, she's had those conversations with him. So Vanessa, as she does, put Brian on a baited him out, like proper baited him out, put him on a hot seat basically. And Brian went every which way but explaining the reasons as to why he hasn't asked her yet, and basically saying that, you know, he's all in and he ain't going nowhere. And she goes like, I know he ain't going nowhere, so why you still wanting to force a ring on this man's finger? If you know he ain't going nowhere, why are you still trying to force this ring on a man's finger? Because Lisa is saying she doesn't want to be any baby, she doesn't want to be a man's baby mother. But even if even if he called you wife, you're still going to be his baby mother, or more or less like the mother of his children. At the end of the day, you ain't the wife to his children, you're still going to be the mother of his children. So what's the difference? Somebody please tell me what the difference is. She's just wanting that actual full-on commitment from Brian, and Brian don't look like he's going to give her that commitment at the end of the day. Come hell or high water, she's still gonna be waiting for it. It moves, the spotlight moves to Roxanne and Antonio, and I think it gets noticed at some point in regards to her not having a ring on her finger. She's going through the whole thing in regards to saying that they're both entrepreneurs, work is very on point, and basically I really believe that Roxanne is afraid of marriage. She's honestly afraid of marriage and that whole commitment. Like, don't get me wrong, she's still committed to Antonio, but she's not committed in the fact that she's not wearing that man's ring. And it's the fact that she pulled out the ring box from the cushion of the seat where he went and then got her 2 other rings to place around the engagement ring, so it doesn't necessarily look like engagement. It was a goddamn nice ring, and she still didn't put that on her finger. So people, even Kat was giving her ideas. Well, why don't you get him a ring? Why don't you design it into something that you will both like, and then get him to wear one? Then it wouldn't, then it's unbalanced. And I'm even thinking that isn't even going to work for her. That isn't even going to work for her. This woman is hella afraid of any sort of commitment to do with marriage, and I think she needs to really unpack that and deal with it and find out what it is that's making her so scared to commit to this man. Because at the end of the day, she's saying that she's still the one that's providing for everything. She's still the one that has to do everything in regards to financial wise, and he talked about his business and what's happening now. But I don't think, even though he's talking about his entrepreneurships and what he's doing and the grind that they're doing, I don't think his entrepreneurships at the moment is netting him any income, and all the income that's coming into that household is again coming from Roxanne. So again, she's still in that line of control where she cannot relinquish that control, and she is absolutely deathly scared of that's how I'm seeing it. She's deathly scared of marriage, and I'm thinking at that point Vanessa Lachey needs to shut up. Like, really needed to shut up, because Vanessa kept on trying to push and push and push and push and push in terms of marriage, and you could see on this girl's face that she's scared. She's afraid of marriage. When someone's afraid of marriage, literally stop trying to back them into a corner, especially then when you offer up your husband and say, well, Antonio, would you like to get married now? And he's like, yeah, I'll get married now. Well, Nick is an ordained minister. We could do it here and now. And I'm just like, are you like for real? Are you and Nick okay? Like, seriously, are you and Nick okay? Because this is not okay. To try and push someone into an uncomfortable setting where you can see that they're uncomfortable, where you can see that they're literally fighting for their life right about now, and you literally heap on more pressure. How is that healthy? How is that honestly healthy? What did you expect Roxanne to say to that? Because she was still saying no, and then it makes her look like a horrible person when she's still saying no, when you've got this man sitting there saying he will do anything for her. Yes, I understood Alex piped up in that situation. Alex piped up in the situation, but my thing is his comment didn't even bear no weight at the end of the day. What I'm saying is these two are hosts. Don't put the people that you're hosting in a predicament like that, because that for me, that was very uncomfortable to watch, because poor Roxanne literally was fighting for her life to get out of that unscathed. It moves to Kat and Alex, and Kat and Alex have already set a date, and they're going to get married May 10th, 2024. So that's next year. So more power to them at the end of the day. And Kat was saying that Alex is more ready to get settled down and have kids than she is, and which is a turn up for the books. He just wants to get it on. But then Roxanne, being Roxanne, had to insert herself into their conversation the same way Alex inserted himself into their conversation, to basically say, but her and Alex had those conversations, and he was basically saying, like, you know, he wanted 12 kids and da-da-da-da-da, and like this, that and the other. But then Kat literally threw back a gauntlet and made her shut her mouth about that, to be honest with you. Because what I'm saying is Kat can be quite quiet, but when she's ready to go, she's ready to go. And more so, if you come at Alex, she's like a Hellcat. Like, she literally ain't gonna take no prisoners if you come at Alex. She needs to advocate for herself a little bit more like that, because like people, they did bring the situation back to unseen bits where it was the girls' night and Roxanne was talking to Kat and basically saying to Kat that she didn't feel that Alex was right for her. There were red flags about him and listing the issues with him and stuff like that. And Kat saw it basically as Roxanne being malicious, and she wanted to shut that conversation down. So that's why she stopped and she moved that conversation away, because she thought she wasn't going to do that anymore in terms of, and she didn't think that it was coming from a good place. When Roxanne was saying it, she didn't believe that it was coming from a good place, whereas Roxanne has actually said, well, no, it was coming from a good place. Actually, she can be quite blunt and quite direct when she says certain things. And if people know Roxanne, or they've watched the show and they've seen how Roxanne maneuvers within the show, she is a very blunt person. She is a very blunt person, but that doesn't mean that she doesn't care about a person. And maybe she could have worded things differently to Kat, or maybe she could have just like seen certain things and minded her own business at the end of the day. Because at the end of the day, Kat is the one that loves this man. Kat is the one that wants to get married to this man, and nothing's going to derail her from that. So whatever you say to this girl about this man is not going to work, because she's just gonna see it as a dig, and you're being malicious. What I will say, my thoughts, is in regards to the whole situation between Kat, Alex, and Roxanne is, I believe that Alex does walk on all over Kat, to be fair. I think she takes a step back in regards to Alex and doesn't necessarily see some of the concerning sides to Alex's behaviours. She rather accepts them in that sense and is blinded to them. So I would have to say I kind of agreed with Roxanne in terms of what she was saying to Alex, because at the end of the day, what we have to give her credit for is don't forget, she's had a 3-week experience with Alex, and a leopard doesn't necessarily change its spots at the end of the day, because as it was, Alex didn't feel like he needed to take anything back. And yes, he voiced his opinion in terms of what he was saying to Antonio about Roxanne, and he did apologize to Antonio in regards to how it came off, but said that he was just looking out for him. But I did note that he never once apologized to Roxanne in how he spoke to Roxanne that night when they were speaking to each other after the lads' night. He never once apologized for that, because that's how he thinks and feels at the end of the day. My thing is they did these little games. I ain't even going to talk about the first game because it was stupid, but then they did this part of the other game where they got the couples to write down who they thought would not say yes to the engagement or to get married. Now, everybody else put down Roxanne, because that was my first thought. It would have been Roxanne, yeah? Except for Kat, she put everybody, because she didn't realise everybody. That's how she took it. She just thought everybody shouldn't have been sitting where they're sitting, but they were. And then you got James and Ryan, who wrote Riah and Trey, and I'm like, really? Where did that come from? Like, really, where did that come from? I don't understand the thinking around Riah and Trey, because it wasn't the first time that James and Ryan were making little remarks towards Riah and Trey and how they thought in regards of their relationship, and didn't think that they were like, Riah was all in and this, that and the other. And I'm like, really, that is the pot calling the kettle black, because at the end of the day, Riah couldn't really be all in or try and make any type of plan or see where she could change her behaviours or learn from the experiment, because James had checked out. James had completely checked out of that scenario with Riah at the end of the day. So what did you expect her to do? So my thing is I don't get how they thought that them two would not would say no to each other, because it was more leaning towards Roxanne saying no, but everybody was shocked that she said yes, when she was the one that literally was hot-footing it away from getting married or even getting engaged. At the end of the day, she said it time and time again, but yet you picked on Riah and Trey. That didn't make any lick of sense to me at all. Like, I think it was Vanessa that then asked Ryan, like, if her and Trey have talked, like, after the show, like, text or anything like that, and Ryan was explaining that she did kind of go on his Instagram and saw a post there, but didn't know whether she could like it or say anything or anything like that, but she hadn't necessarily slid up in his DMs or anything like that. And Riah shut that shit down straight away. Like, she wouldn't be accepting no texts or for them to be talking like that, because there ain't no need for them to talk like that. But if you see a photograph of his that you like, then by all means like it. Yes, by all means make a comment. But when it comes to texting and other things like that, that was a no-go area. And Trey was kind of the same view in regards to, he didn't realise that's what Ryan was thinking about in that sense. And throughout that whole conversation in regards to how Trey and Ryan communicated when they were together, the only person who looked hella uncomfortable by that conversation was James, because that man has some deep-seated issues when it comes to Trey at the end of the day, because he knew that Trey and Ryan got on really well, and they had talks and discussions and were open with each other in a way that he was never open with Ryan. And again, I still think he's envious about that. Then it goes to James and Ryan, and they're getting married September 30th. So that is at the end of this month, September 30th. Okay. And basically he proposed again. He made I don't know why I'm pulling at my hair, but he made a further proposal to her, and Ryan was saying that it felt more natural. And they are living together now. He's moved into her family home, so it's a lot for him to take on board, because he hasn't been around that familyness. He's always been on his own. And then I'm like, and then they decided to show James After Dark, and I was just like, why would you show that? Like, why would we have an interest in watching that? That was just bare ass embarrassing, because at the end of the day, this is why I say you have to be careful when it comes to shit in them flats, because you don't know how much they're fucking filming up in there and what they will put on TV to what they want. But nobody needed to see the sexual habits of James and Ryan at the end of the day. Nobody needed to see that. I could have happily ended this episode without having to see that. But as again, that was the finale. Wasn't much to write home about. But I shall be back very, very soon, because I have watched the updates for Love is Blind After the Altar with our lovely couples that have stayed married. So I am going to be back with those videos very, very soon. As I always say, please hit that why can't I ever get my words out? Why can't I ever get my words out at the end of this? Please hit that subscribe button. That's what I'm trying to say. Please hit that subscribe button, yeah? And hit the notification button. And I'll be back on your screens very, very soon. So let me get out of here before I make more of a fool of myself. Bye-bye, people.